Whoops! That guy almost slipped out of the chair. I'm still recovering from extreme hypothermia. Because you know what's stupid? Stupid is working out in the cold. Yeah, for a couple hours with a socket wrench when it's like freezing cold. But another layer of stupid on top of that is to, work really hard in the extreme cold and sweat. See, when you're sweating in the extreme cold and you get hypothermic, it makes things kind of doubly worse. So that was incredibly stupid of me. This is one of the things that very intelligent people are quite well known for is even though smart and wise, they'll do stupid things because they'll be incredibly focused on something and be completely unaware of the danger that is sitting on top of their shoulders. So I was sick for a couple of days with extreme hypothermia. What's going on? And I'm not talking about what's going on the... I'm not going to be that specific. I'm not going to... the one thing I see more and more as a very observant person is this, I call it ivory tower syndrome. And it goes by many different names. I like my own definition better. Kind of like the pseudo-elitist, pseudo-intelligentsia that live in ivory towers are completely oblivious as to the nature of things. If it were up to me, only people that are like retired lieutenants or somebody that served in the armed forces, because these people, they've seen the real world and they know how things work. To me, and I don't ever discuss politics or politicians, because they're all horrible people, they're all incredibly unintelligent. But people like that have a grip on the world, they can, even if they're not that intelligent, they can always do a better job. If it were up to me, and of course it's not up to me, and I'm not discussing that topics, people that actually have a better grip on life is the point. Is everybody right now, and I look around, because everybody right now is in their homes across the world in the United States. They're staying at home other than going to work, or they're going to the grocery store, and like nobody, it's worse. It was way worse before all of this started, but what is being magnified like an ant underneath a magnifying glass in a bright sun is that people are really becoming isolated, like an echo chamber of their own nutshell of insanity. And this echo chamber aspect of human individualism in society, I'm not against individualism, I'm incredibly in favor of it. Everybody's just lying to themselves, and we're all guilty of it. I try to be extremely objective. I'm extremely objective. I mean, I'm really harsh on myself, for example. I know what I look like, and I know what my voice sounds like, and I know how I come across. I am very strange in a good way in that I can not only match wits, but better outbest anybody in any sort of intellectual snobist group. Not that I ever go to places like that. I can outmatch them, and I'm equally at home or at comfort with hanging around real down-to-earth people. They may not even be able to read or write. And I've had some people, they'll say, this has happened to me many times in life, including an ex-girlfriend. They're like, you might probably hate being around me because you're so smart and, I'm nothing like... I said, no, I mean, you're a real person. I admire real people. I don't believe in that sort of effrontery, like, oh, this person is, uneducated, they're illiterate, every third word that they write is spelled wrong. Who cares, as long as they're a genuine and real person? And also, too, you may or may not know this, a lot of people seem to know this, that the people that have the most are the ones that will have the least are the ones that will give you the most. They'll give you the poor as dirt, they'll give you the shirt off their back. People like that I appreciate. Not that I'm asking for the shirt off of anybody's back. And the people, and I know quite a few millionaires, they're tighter than the bark on a tree. So tight. Tight. I mean, a couple of them don't even have any wife or kids. Like, who are you going to leave it to? I don't want any of their money. But they're so tight. They're so closed off and walled off. And I know people hurt other people. I've had countless horrible things happen to me in life. I know why people wall themselves off. But everybody, there's like 1,000 channels on satellite TV, and everybody's tuned into their own little cliquish nonsense. What really shocked me, by the way, when I went to Chicago, because my ex-girlfriend lived up there, she'd have me up in Chicago, we'd go around, is how cliquish. You know what cliquish means? It means just, there's a certain group of snobs here, and there'd be like, the black makeup wearing nihilists. Or everybody sticks into their own little cliquedom of nonsense, and they're completely oblivious as to the mechanics and nature of the world and of society. I mean, they're just out of touch. I mean, to them, what's really gross as a societal observation, you tell me if I'm wrong, just tell me if I'm full of poop, which I'm not, is that every one of these groups is been so embedded in their own little nutshell of either themselves or people exactly like them that everybody else is just like an alien. And when you alienize other people, you dehumanize them. And when you, as history is always borne out, when you dehumanize other people, then you easily self-justify in doing them harm in countless fashions. All you have to do is dehumanize somebody. And when you dehumanize a group of people, then you immediately, the typical ignorant mind, will rationalize doing harm or awful things, towards that or many other. And I've never in my life seen people living in such a, it's just an echo chamber of their own, they're living in an echo chamber full of their own flatulence. Let's repeat that. I've never seen so many people in life living in an echo chamber of their own flatulence. Just, that is a recipe for incredible downfall. I hate to say that, I'm not doom and gloom person. Now everybody's at home, everybody orders food, they're sitting there playing video games, watching your favorite show, favorite TV show out of 10,000 that speaks to, amplifies. People love amplifying their own beliefs. People are so weak. People that are afraid to challenge their own because nobody is their beliefs, and that's the biggest sickness of all humanity throughout all of history, is that you are not your beliefs. That's so important I have to repeat it twice more. You are not your own beliefs. You are not your own beliefs. Because when somebody attacks nonsense that you believe in or whatever, people get offended, and that's where all skirmishes and horrible things start off. It's like, well, he attacked me. It's like, no, he attacked your beliefs. This is who you are. This is your beliefs. No, he attacked me. No, he attacked this. Some nonsense that you believe. That is not who you are. No, that's me. I am my beliefs. No, you are not your beliefs. Here's a reason why I never discuss religions. Or I never discuss politics, because I have no interest in either one of those things. They are always contrary to wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. They are always contrary to it. It is a belief system, a self-reinforcing, dogmatic, pseudo-intellectual hubris that causes harm to everybody and to society at large. I don't believe in groupthink. Everybody should, however, foremostly be interested in facts, logic, and wisdom, and nobody is. Everybody today is emotional. I'm not saying everybody should be an emotionless Vulcan, right? Vulcan, right? Right. Live long and prosper. But there are times and places for emotions. There are places where emotions should be turned off. One of the missing secrets that you weren't taught in school is that, when it comes to, loving somebody else and your family, emotions are great, they're important, they form bonds. But when it comes to the seeking of knowledge, wisdom, and facts, that is when you need to turn off emotions in yourself, and people don't do that. They let everything cross over and they think with their emotions, and that's the epicenter of all disasters. Either personal disasters or societal disasters. Then people operate off of emotions and belief systems. There's a double whammy. This person's attacking my beliefs. Well, you are not your beliefs. And then when people do that, they, instead of being logical, wise, and intelligent, they engage their emotions. Some people's emotions are always on. They never turn them off, and it's really, really horrible. I'm not boasting about this at all. I'm really, really good at turning off my emotions. I don't mean all the time, but when it needs to be turned off and you're having a logical, intelligent discussion with somebody. And I do this all the time on the phone with people. They want to get emotional. And I had a conversation like this just 48 hours ago with a company that shafted me on something that they sent me. Parts were broken. And I said, listen, I respect the fact that you got this out here in a timely fashion. You did a favor for me. But that is a wholly separate entity from what you did in the fact that it wasn't packaged correctly and parts were damaged. And that wasn't because UPS does throw stuff around, which they do as every other packing person, but I said it was undeniably and existentially so. Packed incorrectly, and this of course led to the damage. This was done that should not have been done. See, I'm actually hyper-logical. And actually, emotional people, to them, when you actually talk like a Vulcan, if you will, be hyper-logical, they'll get more upset. And I see more and more people like that. When you rationalize pure logic, reason, and in a calm fashion, people, this is what was done wrong. These are the existential facts of the circumstances. Boom, 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 A, B, C, D. When people get upset when you present them with facts, not your facts, those are your facts, it's your opinions. It's like, no, we're not talking about opinions here. We're talking about demonstrable facts. There's another thing that should have been taught in high school or college and was not. People don't learn the difference between opinions, or doxa, and demonstrable empirical facts. Objective empirical facts. Like, this is what was done. Here's a picture of it. This was done, and that should not have been done because boom, boom, boom. When people get emotional over demonstrable facts, they are of an irrational type of unintelligence that they should be shunned. I'm not saying you never take their phone calls, or you have to acknowledge them for what they are, is that they are intellectually immature. And when people live in an echo chamber, they're like an unsharpened sword. It's like, well, it's a piece of metal there, it kind of looks like a sword. Swords are sharpened on a stone. They receive friction and they get sharpened and they become a fine, sharp piece. Minds and souls are sharpened the same way. This is the reason why the ancient Indians and Tibetans still do this today. One thing I admire the Tibetans for is they have debating halls. The ancient form of entertainment back in the day in ancient northern India, Magadha Valley, is they'd have debating halls. Masters or gurus of metaphysics would debate each other. People would gather around. They wouldn't eat popcorn, but they would eat stuff better than a movie. And people would literally have wars of intellect. And people say, well, this guy defeated this person. He used facts, logic, and wisdom and defeated it. And people don't have that ability. The lack of the ability of humans to debate and have rational discussions, it's only getting worse. Everybody now, they go to work, they come home. Some people don't even leave the house. They'll just mail order food. You know how grocery stores now deliver food? People now, and this is so lazy, long before all this garbage started in 2020, like Kroger's, which is a grocery store, they'd have these drive-up. You'd order your groceries online, and then you'd show up, and you'd honk the horn or whatever. You hit the little button, and some lazy slob would come out. You're lazy. I'm fat and lazy. I go into the freaking grocery store. People don't want to see other people. They don't want to look them in the face. It's like they order their groceries and come home, and people become more and more and more and more isolated. And the nutshell of people sniffing their own flatulence, I say humorously, that's what they're doing. This nutshell develops a thicker and a thicker skull. So everybody's living in this nutshell of their own self-deluded flatulence, fantasies, nonsense, hyperbolic beliefs. This is what I believe. You attack me, you attack my... It's like, no. It's completely ridiculous, and here's the reasons why. Boom, 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 boom. Can you debate that? Let's have a debate. Debate doesn't mean fight. Doesn't mean argumentation. People don't do that anymore. They've completely lost the ability. This ivory tower syndrome, as I like to call it, or this self-deluding echo chamber where, fools talk to themselves and, they agree with them. Obviously they're agreeing with themselves. It's a recipe for disaster, and it is only building. And it's getting worse. It got really, because everybody's isolated in the year 2020, and they still are isolated, and that stuck it into overdrive. It's been going on for years and years and years, but 2020 threw it into overdrive. You want to know the answer to the extreme polarization in the world, and or America, or both, really the whole world, is that's what threw it into overdrive. People are living in isolated fantasies. So cliquish, so oblivious to how the nature of the world really works. You know, there will be a snapback from that, and I hope I'm not. I know I'll be around to see it. I wished I wouldn't be around to see it, but tell me what you think. I'm right on this, but go ahead and tell me what you think anyway, because I always read every comment. Believe it or not, I do. People say, "I bet you don't read this comment." It's like, yeah, I did. I read your comment. Happy New Year.